The Giants are set to hire Pat Shurmur as head coach, and fans are excited. I have to admit, I was a little surprised by that initial reaction, but I put a poll on Twitter on Monday night, and about 1,300 people responded, and 80% of the response was positive about the expected hire. Now, I just didn't think that'd be the case because it seemed like during the process, Shurmur was a distant third behind Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels and Patriots defensive coordinator Matt Patricia in the eyes of most fans. But maybe the fact that it looks like those Patriots coordinators are headed elsewhere forced fans to realize Shurmur was probably going to be the best option available. But even throughout the process, I don't know why he was so far behind those Patriots coordinators, other than the fact he probably doesn't have as much buzz as they do. They're younger guys, obviously been in a franchise that's won a bunch of Super Bowls. So I think that kind of gave them a boost. But as far as the resumes, Shurmur has a very accomplished one. He's been a successful coordinator and assistant at multiple places around the NFL. And the thing I found most interesting is whenever McDaniels came up, his time in Denver, where he failed as a head coach, was referenced almost as a positive, like how much he's learned from that and how much different he'll be at the next stop. And yet Shurmur, who failed as the Cleveland Browns head coach in 2011, 2012, was dismissed based on that stint. To me, that didn't really make sense because, listen, McDaniels inherited a much better situation in Denver. And Shurmur, yeah, listen, he won 9 games in 2 seasons. They'd be throwing a parade in Cleveland for a guy who does that right now, where that franchise is at. I mean, he just did not have any personnel to work with. I mean, the starting quarterbacks were Colt McCoy and Brandon Weeden. He came in a tough situation starting after the lockout and then got fired after his second season when they changed ownership. So I think it's really unfair to hold that Cleveland tenure against Shurmur. And now the other knock on him seems to be his personality. I don't know him. He does seem to kind of just be a little bit of a dull guy. But that doesn't really matter. If he's up at the podium being boring and winning games, fans will be okay with it. The problem is, can he control the locker room? Now, again, we don't know. But when he was in Cleveland, as bad as that team was, there weren't a lot of reports of infighting in the locker room or the fact that he had lost the team. It just seemed like they didn't get it done on the field. But for the questions about his style and his personality, they just don't seem to be warranted by anything that's happened in his past. Because again, he's been a successful coordinator time and time again. We'll find out if he can handle this situation, because obviously the spotlight is going to be brighter in New York, and he inherits a difficult situation with the Giants locker room that really fell apart last season. But just when you look at where the Giants are coming from with Ben McAdoo, who was inexperienced, and it really blew up for him, now you have to turn around and think this is a safe, solid hire, and I think the Giants might have got the right guy in Pat Shurmur.